Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradeToLife.com and welcome to this quote of the week video, which will touch base on the topic of affirmations. So this is a huge topic. There are some people that rely on affirmations and think, if I don't say my set of affirmations per day, then I will be out of the state of to be fulfilled. I won't embody my desire. I won't be able to manifest it because I have to affirm in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and this is some sort of method that I have to follow, and I want to explain that a little bit. So first of all, just a quick insight: I'm absolutely not against affirmations. Of course, affirmations are great. However, they have to be consciously used, obviously, in the correct context or with the correct background, deeper understanding of what is actually happening. Because if you just use it as a vain repetition of words and you just say I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I have this, I have this, I have this, because you try to implant something in your subconscious mind, because that is what you have learned, because you try to convince the mind, which is really hard to do because the mind is tied to the senses, you could create a lot of resistance for yourself. I'm speaking about from my own personal experience. I've tried affirmations in the beginning of my journey for a while and scripted things and affirmed things, but every time I did this, I wasn't able to really embody this. I wasn't really able to, identify with this, carry this state with me. It was just a process that I did again and again and again. And at the end, it didn't really help me to manifest. So affirmations right now, as I use them, is to confirm the state I'm already in. So if I'm shopping and I see something expensive I want to buy and I buy it and I just say, yeah, of course I buy this because I'm wealthy. Or when when people ask me, why are you always so healthy? Why do you never get sick? And then I take this, yeah, of course, because I'm never sick, and I can give people advice on that. Or I just take these affirmations to confirm a state I'm already in, but I'm not using them forcefully as a tool to get myself into a state. Because again, that's difficult, at least from my perspective. Because again, the truth is that the mind is tied to the senses. The mind only will believe what is in front of it right now. So if you try to convince the mind and, press something deeply into you, then this can create friction, this can create resistance, and we can just bypass that by applying the law of assumption naturally, by using our awareness, our imagination consciously and shifting it into the desired state through imagining a scene, through feeling into, oh, I remember when I was really sick. I remember when I struggled with my health symptoms. I remember when I felt stuck in life. I remember when I was really lonely. I remember when I had no partner. Well, we can take that to put the current state into the past and become more aware of the state that we want to express. And this is basically more powerful than affirmations, in my personal opinion. So I'm not against them. It's just that I'm not teaching manifesting based on affirmations, because it's so easy to tell someone, yeah, just say, I am now with X, Y, and Z. I now have X, Y, and Z. Of course you can do that, but the best success stories that I got, the best success stories that Neville's students got, that my students get, is not through vain repetition of affirmations, but through the conscious use of their internal world, through the conscious use of their imagination and awareness. So let's just dive into the quote, because let's see what Neville actually has to say about affirmations. So he got a question from one of his students where the student asked, do you use affirmations and denials, right? Do you use affirmations to state a certain thing, or to denial that a thing is not right now as it seems to be? Is that how we should do it? That is what Neville got asked. And now let's look at Neville's answer, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on that. So Neville basically said, let us leave these schools of thought that use affirmations and denials. The best affirmation and the only effective one is in an assumption which in itself implies denial of the former state. The best denial is total indifference. Things wither and die through indifference. They are kept alive through attention. You do not deny a thing by saying it does not exist, or you do not bring about a thing by saying it does exist, by just saying, oh yeah, now I'm rich. This will do nothing in and of itself. I have to be in that state of being rich so that this can be mirrored back to me, but more on that later. So rather, you put feeling into it by recognizing it, and what you recognize as true is true to you, be it good, bad, or indifferent. So Of course, here and there, Neville also talks about, an I am statement. And again, this is nothing bad, and you can play with that. And if it does help you, if it does bring you in the mood of the wish fulfilled, go for it. Perfect. I'm just saying that be also open for maybe potential other ways that you can use that will make it way easier to embody a desired state, to make it way easier to shift into your desired reality / state / identity that can then be mirrored back to you. So Neville here said, like, let us leave these schools of thought that use affirmations and denials, right? Let us leave these teachings where you hear people say, yeah, just affirm like 5 affirmations you have to say every day to get X, Y, and Z. 5 affirmations to say in the morning, 5 to say in the evening, and you do that, and you will manifest your goals. I mean, yeah, that's all fine. Yeah, that's all funny. And maybe if you're beginning on this journey, then it will help. But eventually, like, ask yourself, do you really want to do that? Like, do you want to really stay there into the mirror or wherever it is and say affirmations, right? Again, because it is not in the power of the word that you're saying. It is not the affirmation, the I am rich, that will make you rich. It's not this empty shell that you're saying it. So the power is not in the affirmation. The power is still your awareness and the state you fuse it with. So of course, we can consciously use affirmations to fuse us, to help us identify with a certain state and reality. Absolutely yes. So they definitely work, but not when you just say them out of vain repetition and just on a shallow surface level. Then they won't produce anything. If you use them consciously and you say, or use like an ask formation, like, oh, isn't it great that I'm right now this? Or how would I see the world right now if I would be this? This is way more powerful, in my opinion, than just stating I'm right now rich. Because then your mind will try and look for proof. If you say, I'm right now in this relationship, I'm right now healthy, I'm right now this, then your mind will look for proof. And then if you still have a symptom, if the circumstance is still as you don't want it to be, then again, this creates this resistance. So why doing that? Why rely on affirmations? Let us leave this. Let us use it if we prefer, or like maybe I do, to just confirm a state that we already feel stabilized in, that is already certain to us, that we are already really deeply identified with, that we're certain about, but not to get us into a state. So the best affirmation, right, and the only effective one is an assumption, right? Assuming that we are in desired state, assuming that we are this ideal version of us, that, because creation is finished, already does exist. That, because there are infinite states, already does exist. And we can identify with it through these various techniques and methods and approaches that are out there. And then, by doing that, this will automatically, this is right now really important, because this implies denial of the former state. Meaning, if you start to identify with this ideal state, with this ideal version of you, with this desired version of you, with the state that you want to express in your life, no matter which area it is right now that you want to tackle, then by you identifying with that state, the old state automatically dies, right? No person is dying, but the state that you had life is dying in your life, right? Through indifference, right? You're just like, you're just total indifferent towards that state, but that happens through the assumption of the new state. So assume the new state, and then the letting go process happens automatically. I get this question really often, like, how do I let go? And, now I did all of my scenes, how can I let go of this? Which is in and of itself, meaning that you are not really approaching it the correct way. But letting go is not something that you sit down and you do. You don't say, okay, now I let go. Now I let go of my illness. No, an ill person will only let go of illness when they live in a state of health. So don't focus on letting go. Don't focus on these things. Focus on making the new state natural, and then therefore the old state will automatically die, and you will automatically become indifferent towards this old state. It will seem like old to you, and you won't even remember it. It will be like who was that version of me that had that alive, or who was that version that thought that way, or that had this paradigm, or that assumed this to be true. I don't identify with it any longer, because you made this new state alive, right? So things wither and die through indifference. They're kept alive through attention, obviously, where you place your awareness on, where you place your attention on, just in this quote, another word for awareness, basically, this is what you keep alive. So if I place my awareness on a state of I'm wealthy, of course, I'm alive in that state. This is what I'm identified with. This is what I assume to be true for myself. And what I assume to be true for myself has to be reflected back in the circumstances, in the people that I encounter. So you do not deny a thing by saying it does not exist, right? By just saying, oh no, there is no bad health condition, no, there is no relationship, no negative relationship situation. By you just saying that, it won't really go away. You just place your attention on it again, basically, and your mind gets crazy. So don't just let the fact be the fact, and you basically feel yourself into recognizing that what you want is already existing, is already true. You can start to identify with it. And because what you recognize is true, and this is a key point as well, is true to you, right? If you recognize to be healthy, then that is true to you, even though right now you might have a little flu or whatever, but inwardly you can so make the health so natural to you that you will be indifferent towards the symptoms, towards the circumstances, and then they will naturally fade away and your new state will be alive. And then there is no effort to remain in that state because it is so natural to you. You don't have to force yourself to be in it, or force yourself to do certain things to embody it. Because I always tell my clients, let's say you are a smoker or a non-smoker, either one of these options you are. Do you do anything to stay in that state? No. But I'm a non-smoker and I don't have to work for it. I don't have to consciously walk around in my day-to-day life and embody that state that I'm a non-smoker. That is so certain to me that even if I would smoke a cigarette, even if I would see friends of mine or strangers smoke, I wouldn't have the impulse to then start smoking or to identify myself with a smoker, even though this is in my environment. So that is, when a state becomes natural, you will just naturally carry this state with you. And to conclude this quote of the week series video right now is that, affirmations, in my personal opinion, yes, they can be great tools, right? They are not the all that there is holy grail. Yes, they can be great tools to, anchor us in a desired state, but not through the vain repetition of words. It is not the words. It is not saying, I remember when this was true for me, now this is true for me. These are the words, but it's the implication of that. It is in whichever state and identity this and self-concept, this anchors you, right? So if you consciously therefore apply an affirmation to say, I see myself as a wealthy person, and you then really see the world from this state, of course, that's nice. Of course, play with that. If you like that, do it. But I want to help you to use affirmations to think that you have to convince the mind and say it over and over again, because that is not how I would approach it, right? I would use affirmations to confirm a state I'm in, but I would actually, use a conscious assumption, aka use my imagination to imagine something that implies I am in that state, a scene that implies I have already achieved my goal, whether I let a friend congratulate me, whether I imagine holding my phone in my hand, having a conversation with someone that confirms to me that I'm right now X, Y, and Z, that I have achieved X, Y, and Z. And this helps you to identify with the version of you that already lives this desired life. And this is a subtle internal knowing that is beyond the surface mind. So that is my conclusion. I'm really interested in your point of view on that. I know that some of you swear in affirmations. I know that some of you have never used an affirmation to manifest great stuff. So let me now know in the comments down below how you feel about this. If you use affirmations, what is maybe your favorite affirmation? If you agree with me that affirmations are, great tools, but it is more important that we focus on placing our awareness on the desired state. And that is the truth. Still with an affirmation, right? What people eventually do that think it was the affirmation that manifested, it is not the affirmation that manifested, right? It is the state that they place themselves in via the affirmation. So, yeah, Neville says, let us leave these schools of thought that use affirmations and denials. I'm agreeing with him. I'm not a fan of them. I'm not going to teach them because I focus more on, this repeatable process that you can always use to go from this desire, and then to this desire by you whenever the desire and the hunger is coming up, to experience it as already being fulfilled, which will get you this satisfaction, which will shift you into this inner faith that it is done, which is, in my opinion, more powerful than just saying words. So that's it for this video. I'm looking forward to your feedback. I'm speaking to you in the next one. Bye, guys.